Tzu Chi's foreign language team provides simultaneous interpretation for visitors from American Rotary Club. Families with premature babies that suffer complications conquer challenges with faith and strength. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Maggie Tsai. Thank you for joining us. Members of the American Rotary Club visited the Kaohsiung Jing Si Hall to help them understand Tzu Chi's missions. Tzu Chi's foreign language team has provided simultaneous interpretation for the visitors. The visitors have been deeply touched by the experience. Let's take a look.
And every day working in this facility is about 100 people.
The visitors take note upon hearing that so many recycling volunteers are giving of themselves. These leaders from the Rotary Club in the United States have come to visit Kaohsiung Jing Si Hall. Tzu Chi's foreign language team has provided simultaneous interpretation.
How many cell phones does the Taiwanese people have?
If we provide English translation after the speaker has spoken Chinese, we might lose the focus of what the speaker is trying to express. If we provide simultaneous interpretation, they can receive the most important information.
As the volunteers introduced the origin of Tzu Chi as well as the recycling exhibition in both Chinese and English, the visitors have been deeply touched.
I felt was contributing positively to help our Earth. It was almost paralyzing. So it gives me so much encouragement to see what you all are doing, truly.
The members of the Rotary Club also work to contribute to society. Coming to Taiwan, they hope to learn from the volunteers here.
And I feel very close and connected to the work that you're doing, believe in the work, the same mission around education and health and well-being.
The Rotary Club members from Virginia have learned much from Tzu Chi volunteers, and they're even more determined to work for the betterment of mankind.
Tzu Chi Singapore had invited an expert in lean management to come and conduct a 5S workshop. The 5S methodology helps a workplace remove items that are no longer needed and organize the items to optimize efficiency and flow. The volunteers have followed the instructions, and much improvements have been seen over the past few months.
The storage room was in a mess. It would take some time to look for an item. Now a few changes have been made. The workflow has become more smoothly.
Changes do not happen overnight. In November 2018, Singapore Tzu Chi volunteers invited an expert in lean management to conduct a 4-day 5S workshop. The 5S methodology originated from Japan, which stands for sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. It's the basic foundational elements of lean management.
Don't tell me that you're going to keep all of them. These shelves need to be moved out. This way you will have more space to store items. You can decide on what you need and what you don't need.
Before, we put the items on the shelves and they took up lots of space. Now we place them on the floor to save space.
According to experts' instructions, volunteers have reorganized and sorted the items in the storage room. In March 2019, the expert continued to guide everyone into the second stage, set in order.
When the expert came during the first stage, we cleared the entire storage room. Then we started to categorize the items. When she came back for the second time, she taught us to implement the second S, error-proofing, and etc. Whether the work process is good or bad is all very subjective. But if we use statistics to look at it, such as time or footsteps, we will have realistic results.
Before attending this workshop, I had to search everywhere in order to find an item. Now we don't really need a general affairs staff to give us directions to find things that we need. It's very efficient.
Although volunteers have only implemented the first 2S, but it has improved the space utilization at the Jing Si Hall. This is a motivation for everyone to keep practicing and learning more about the 5S.
In Malaysia, Tzu Chi Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter held a gathering for dialysis patients for the first time. At the event, doctors and nutritionists provided information regarding how dialysis patients can take better care of themselves. In addition, many dialysis patients also shared their experiences.
The Tzu Chi Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter held a gathering for dialysis patients at the Kuala Lumpur Jing Si Hall for the first time.
其实肾脏有很多其他的功能，所以在这里我们可以看到说，它不只是排泄身体的毒素跟排水，那么它还有就是调整我们的血压。
Dialysis treatment can save lives of patients with kidney failure. The gathering has invited doctors and nutritionists to talk about the importance of kidney health.
We focus on two areas. The first is the questions dialysis patients frequently ask. How do they adjust their lifestyle for better health? In terms of treatment, how do they adjust themselves mentally? The other one is about their diet.
As the hospital, not all dialysis patients will come see nutritionists. Sometimes the doctors suggest they see nutritionists, but they refuse. Many of them lack protein. Since the doctor might tell them about the food they cannot eat, they end up not eating anything.
We cannot eat oranges. I did not know about it. I am not sure about wheat bread, so I avoid eating it right now. In terms of nutrition, I only know about what food we should avoid. I've only learned since coming here today.
Besides professional knowledge, dialysis patients also share their own experiences.
If you think you are sick, this illness will follow you the whole time. We need to take better care of ourselves and learn more health concepts.
The gathering for dialysis patients has helped improve their physical and mental health.
Indonesia, Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for a 6-year-old girl with hydrocephalus. For 4 years after falling ill, the girl has lost her eyesight and her body has become stiff. Tzu Chi volunteers have been providing her family with milk and diapers, as well as regular visits. Their help has encouraged the girl's mother.
Sutini is sharing her daughter's lovely photos in the mobile phone. However, after her daughter was diagnosed with hydrocephalus, her childhood changed. After being ill for 5 years, Akila lost her eyesight and her limbs became stiff. Furthermore, she relies on a feeding tube to get her nutrients.
Maybe I've done too much wrongdoings in the past, so my daughter became ill. It is my responsibility to take care of her. I hope she will suffer less because of my care.
Sutini has taken the full responsibility of caring for her ill daughter. 4 years ago, Tzu Chi volunteers began helping her, providing milk, diaper, and most importantly, spiritual support.
Tzu Chi volunteers often visit my daughter and me. When my daughter was hospitalized, they came to visit as well. They encouraged us and remind me to take good care of myself. I'm grateful to have met them.
We really admire Aquila's mother. She takes good care of her daughter. She also searches for information about ways to care for children with special needs.
The volunteers have accompanied Sutini as she cares for her ill daughter. They will continue to encourage this mother-daughter pair with love and care.
Premature babies face the threat of death upon birth. The complications of their birth also pose challenges in their later life. However, many are able to conquer illnesses and even become parents to continue the cycle of love. Let's meet some of them and their mother through our report. The baby's tiny body was wrapped with different kinds of tubes. This premature Bei's eyes is closed tightly because of discomfort.
Bebe often forgets to breathe when he's asleep, so I put an oxygen tube on him when he's sleeping.
However, an emergency accident occurred all of a sudden.
I saw his face become pale and his mouth and nose were both bleeding. His heart stopped beating.
After losing signs of life for half an hour, Beibei was saved by the medical team.
That time I really want to give all my fortune to him. As long as God can save his life, I can give up everything.
Although his life was saved, 10-month-old Beibei still needs to eat with a tube.
He often tries to get rid of the tube and I need to keep on putting it back so he won't take it out. I thought it was a miracle that he had regained his life and stayed alive till now.
Premature babies need extra care and love from parents. The medical staff also play an important role in their destiny. Tantang was only 724 grams when she was born. Her mother brought her back to the hospital to give thanks to the medical team.
When she was born, her brain bled 3 times. Doctors said that if it continued to bleed, they might not be able to save her. Luckily, it all passed and she's fine now.
Tantang still needs to check on her heart function periodically. However, the fact that she's able to survive is already the most wonderful thing in her mother's life.
When you look at them in a life's perspective instead of abilities or their social interactions in the future, the premature baby's life will touch every one of us.
Love is the most important thing. This family of 3 generations is the best example. Both the daughter and the granddaughter were premature babies. The grandmother recalled how her water broke when she was 5 months pregnant.
My water broke early. According to the doctor, the baby can hardly survive 72 hours after the water broke.
She was injected with antibiotics continuously to prevent the baby from getting infections. However, her daughter was still born 3 months early.
She had to sleep in an incubator. She had jaundice and her weight was very low. I didn't know how to raise her and it was extremely stressful at that time.
After 31 years, this premature baby has grown up to be a lovely and strong mother. Being a mother taught her how powerful a mother's love is. Her twin daughters were also premature babies.
I've also been pregnant, so I can understand how difficult it was for my mother.
Many premature babies have not only conquered their illnesses, but have also become parents that are able to continue to pass down the love and care they've received.
She was a premature baby herself, and she was able to give birth to a pair of premature twin babies healthily. I thought we were extremely lucky. I was a premature baby myself. If I can grow up healthily, I believe my children can also do it.
There are little correlations between how many weeks a premature baby was born and their health in the future.
妈妈，谢谢你，谢谢你生下我，还有帮我照顾这2个双胞胎。
Many premature babies have not only conquered their illnesses, but have also become parents that are able to continue to pass down the love and care they've received. Acidification of oceans comes mostly from carbon dioxide through industrial waste effluents can exacerbate the problem. In the waters near the Guanyin Industrial Zone in Taoyuan, local algae, coral, and marine animals are almost completely extinct because of this acidic environment. Despite this fact, the EPA did not change wastewater regulations, which are still between a pH value of 6 to 9. Many fear this ecological status of Taiwan's coastal areas is now under threat from acidification.
Gusto's coralline algae reef grows rapidly. In the waters off of Taoyuan, the DaTan reef is ecologically rich with first-class endangered corals. Herds of hermit crabs, eel, and hundreds of thousands of crabs can be seen here. The DaTan Reef has yet to be affected by industrial pollution. It's a paradise for marine organisms, but some 6 kilometers away it is a totally different scene. These waters are located near the Guanyin Industrial Zone. This is listed as a precious algae reef. It was once very rich in marine life, but is now almost extinct. The main creatures that make up the algal reef are shell-shaped coral algae, which have mostly all died. The beauty of the red algal reefs no longer exists, leaving only a gray skeleton with the oysters attached to the algal reef extinct.
The most pollution-resistant oysters also died in an instant. This represents that the industrial wastewater pollution is not just near the mouth of the river. It actually spreads with the current everywhere.
Why is this coastal seawater so acidic that marine creatures cannot survive? We investigate the scene. The algal reef under the foot of the reporter is not the blue color of the sea. Instead, it is black from long-term industrial wastewater plus sediment. Let's take a look at the acidity of the seawater.
The pH here is about 7.7. Normal with seawater 8.1, so it's much lower. In fact, as long as the difference is 0.1, it will hurt the marine life.
Industrial wastewater from Guanyin Industrial Zone is discharged from this outlet. We can see the color quality of the water is quite dark. There's also an odor. This channel runs for 600 to 700 meters till it reaches the sea.
The water from the industrial area is too acidic, which turns the river acidic. Some industrial areas emit heavy metals, which are mostly soluble in acid, so the concentration of heavy metals in these acidic waters is very high.
February 2018, the EPA revised water quality standards for areas by the sea. However, the pH value was still unchanged from old rules of between pH 6 to 9.
Industrial areas close to the coast should have a tightening of regulations to reduce wastewater pH.
In addition to acidification due to industrial wastewater, excessive fertilizer use on farmland is also a culprit in coastal areas.
When we are near the shore, a lot of fertilizer goes into the sea. These nutrients will nourish the phytoplankton or zooplankton, which will grow and then die out, and they sink to the bottom to break down, releasing carbon dioxide and acid.
When a large area of farmland makes use of fertilizer, we give the farmers some advice and say don't use nitrogen or phosphorus or fertilizer which exceeds as standards. This may prevent it from flowing into our rivers and the ocean after rain.
The acidification phenomenon in the coastal seas is relatively easy to solve. This includes the government strictly controlling industrial wastewater and fertilizer which enters the sea. However, comprehensive acidification of oceans is a major problem related to energy consumption, which may affect the survival of our descendants.
To reduce the acidification caused by carbon dioxide, we must reduce dependence on fossil fuels. Carbon dioxide emissions in a few countries in Europe have begun to regulate or abandon fossil fuels use. Still, most countries continue to use it on a large scale, so the acidification of seawater is absolutely impossible to avoid within 100 years.
The ecological collapse caused by ocean acidification is an issue that continues to plague us. All of us need to act now before it is too late, or beauty of the ocean will be lost forever.
Tzu Chi volunteers Li Xinsheng is a toy expert at the Tzu Chi Neihu Environmental Education Station. He can turn plastic bottles and styrofoams into all kinds of toys and games. He says his background helped him discover the treasure within the recycling station and extend the life of resources.
They must push the plastic bottle to the other person. If one of them can't react quickly and the battle stops midway, he or she will lose the game. The game seems easy to play, but they must open and close their arms repeatedly. Doing this for 2 minutes is like working out in the gym.
This is just a nylon rope and plastic bottle. This is a handle. The longer the rope, the more strength you need. This is as good as a workout.
This game was also made from recyclables. You must watch carefully, or your dart will hit 0.
I gained 7 points. The first time was 10 points, and the second time was 7 points. When I was little, I played darts by throwing them straight ahead, not downwards.
There's also another way to play darts.
It's very interesting. It makes me 50 years younger.
Here's a line of jewelry boxes which look the roofs of great love villages Tzu Chi built in disaster areas. When you open one, you'll get a surprise. Like this one, it's a blessing ornament.
All these were made by Tzu Chi volunteers Li Qingxiong. Every bottle and can be turned into all kinds of toys. Is it because he has a professional background?
My background came from working with valuables at our Tzu Chi grounds.
Li Qingxiong likes hunting for treasure from these recyclables, so he can make them useful again.
But to ahead, Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia started promoting environmental protection at the fishing village in 2016 after seeing a picture of the polluted beach. The enormous amount of garbage littered by the villagers threatened their health. After the villagers became aware of this problem, they joined Tzu Chi volunteers in cleaning up their village.
Sungai Ayam is a little fishing village with around 70 families. They don't have to pay taxes, but they don't have any garbage truck to collect their rubbish, so the villagers throw it into the sea.
Every time the high tide comes, the garbage would get flushed back to people's homes.
Since 2016, Tzu Chi volunteers have been educating villagers about environmental protection and also leading them to do recycling.
We must love our Malaysia. We must put garbage into garbage cans, not into the sea.
The villagers initiated a major cleanup for their village. The teachers formed themselves into a team to clean up the wetland and find historical garbage.
You'll find items from different periods. I found stuff used by my grandma when she was little. It was also discovered here.
On the riverbeds under these buildings are full of so much garbage.
We created and threw away this garbage, so we must pick it up.
When we see this environment, if we don't clean it up, how can our children live here? The place will become a garbage mountain.
They cannot remove all the garbage that has accumulated over 30 years, but they have taken the first step in cleaning their village. Someday in the future, their village will become clean again.
Kaohsiung City in the Philippines had another fire and about 829 families were in need of help. City Philippine chapter immediately delivered a variety of living necessities to the affected households. We'll leave you with these images and thank you for joining us. Goodbye.